All right, everybody, we have a MotoStars videos. Take a look at these crashes and close calls. The whole point of this is it's an after-action review to find out what happened so that we can do the right thing and remove the bad thing or the thing that causes us to crash like this. So let's go over some of these videos. So he's able to talk and have fun. So part of being a smart rider is acquiring and using personal protective equipment just in case we do crash. But we do want to seek and maintain. We're going to talk about rescue a little bit. And then the whole point of this is that we are teaching and mentoring everybody here in class. Grab yourself a slice of pizza. Watch this live on typically Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So what happened here? So we're going through the corner. Part of the plan method, that's what we're going to be using a lot, is that we need to be locating hazardous situations just like corners and intersections. Okay, those are the big hazardous things. Failure to negotiate a corner is a lot of reasons why, or the main reason why, people crash in the corners and then left turners in intersections. But we're going to talk about open lane patterns and a few other things. So right here, I think what happened is that we lost traction on this part. So if you're in the UK or anywhere else, let me know if you've ever had a feeling of like, oh, I lost traction here. My big thing here when they put paint or they change things up, especially in the corners, if they don't put that little granule, like the salt granules or whatever it is in there to give it that traction, it's going to be nice and smooth. So that's a big fear. So whenever I see anything that's other than the gray on the road, it lets me know, hey, I should probably avoid it. In this one, we can't really avoid this. So if you notice, as soon as he goes over it, that rear tire loses traction.
Without any harm.
So be very careful around that. Maybe go a little bit slower when you go over that.
Whoa.
Keep it a little bit upright as best you can, and then navigate that corner. We shouldn't have to do that as motorcycle riders. Car drivers never have this issue, but it is what it is. We're riding motorcycles. But let's take a look at some of these other ones. Let's see what happens here. So we're going on to the highway. Same thing. Low-sided, lost traction. Why did we lose traction here? We leaned really far. Let's go and take a look at what the actual bike does. Leans really far, maybe accelerating at the same time. So part of your tire traction is that it needs gravity and weight on it. So if we are turning, we need to have weight on those tires. If we are accelerating, we need weight on those tires. If we are braking, we need weight on those tires. That's why the front brake, when we apply the front brakes, we start to go forward and there's more now pressure on that front tire. That's why it's going to grab more. That's why the front brake offers 70 to 80% of your braking power versus the rear. Cool fun fact there. But when we're turning, we're using as much traction as possible, and we're using a lot. Then now we want to accelerate. Now we need to use more. We need to use more. We need to use more. So when we're in the middle of a sharp turn like this, don't give it a ton of throttle. Just go ahead and go through the turn. Give it some speed before the turn. Go through the turn nice and easy with a little bit of maintaining throttle, not giving it more, and then make it through the turn. You're going to be practicing quite a bit of that in the first book that I have here for the Smart Rider Motorcycle Training System in the neighborhood. You're going to be practicing that a lot. This is going to take you from zero to get your endorsement. And then we have the Smart Rider Drills and Rescue booklet. We'll be going over some of the principles from those books during this video. So if you want the condensed stuff with QR codes that will give you videos, check these books out, the Smart Rider Motorcycle Training System. Check it out. There's digital, print, and there's ones with cones so you can practice all that stuff. All right, here we go. Lane filtering.
I turn now.
So we talk about street strategies on this, and one of the big things when it comes to hazardous situations, this is a hazardous situation. There's no real active or relevant threats yet. Usually those are things that are going to be right in front of you because you're traveling towards it, right? You don't want to hit it. But this is a hazardous situation because it removes one of the three things that we can do. The only three things we can do on a motorcycle is to turn, brake, accelerate. In an emergency situation, emergency swerve, emergency accelerate, emergency braking. Okay, this takes away swerving. So to me, that feels hazardous because you're taking a tool from me. So if this is the case, that means I need to not go super fast because I need to be able to brake quickly. The faster you go, the longer it takes to brake. That's your total stopping distance. So if I'm going slowly through this, I'm able to apply the brakes pretty easy. If I am going slow, it means I can accelerate and get up to speed really quick. Okay, but here I can't swerve. Now, the thing that we can look for, so that's the body doing the stuff. The mind needs to now start paying attention here. Now, that's why we're watching these videos. So the mind right here shows me, hey, there's an open lane right here. One of the patterns that we're going to see, hopefully, in this video, hopefully you guys don't make these mistakes, but when we see it, is that if there's an open lane up ahead, that gives an opportunity for any vehicle wanting to come out. they might want to go to that open spot because they don't want to be stuck in line. That's the main reason why we're lane filtering right here. We're going into our version of an open spot because we don't want to go into or to stay in line. These people need to have a big open lane to do the same thing we are doing. So if we see that ahead of time and I'm not speeding, I can't swerve, but I can brake really well because I've been practicing my braking in the Smart Rider drills. I've been practicing my acceleration in Riding Smart, the other book, part of the system. I've been practicing all this stuff. So if somebody does do something, I can apply the brakes really quickly. Now, how can I apply the brakes really quickly while paying attention to this, having these good skills? How can I go ahead and give myself a nice little shortcut? I'm going to cover the brakes. I'm covering the brakes. So now I don't have to reach for it, then squeeze. I can just squeeze. Squeeze nice progressive brake pressure, because part of total stopping distance and anything that you do on a motorcycle, first you have to perceive, then you have to react, and then the thing is however long it takes. So part of total stopping distance, it's an addition problem. Perception, reaction, braking distance for total stopping distance. There's a perception, reaction, how far you're going to swerve for the swerving thing. Same thing for the acceleration thing. How much room do you have to accelerate into? So let's go and take a look. Once again, he switches over.
I turn now.
Into the open lane. Not what you could have done though, right? Hopefully we could have been able to accelerate, maybe swerve right, maybe apply the brakes. We saw the tires turn. We don't know, but at the end of the day, we acquire and use personal protective equipment in case something happens. Hopefully we're not going to get hurt that bad. All right, so we went over quite a bit here, so let's go ahead and use those principles for the rest of these videos. That was the side of the vehicle. There's a vehicle right there. What did we do that saved us from having a head-on, basically a head-on. It's a rear end, but for us to not slam into the back, we swerved out of the three things. Now, what I was talking about here is just like the open lane pattern back there where we saw the open lane that kind of gives us an idea something could happen. This is a side of the vehicle pattern. This is just in case this person might want to come out. So as soon as I see the side of the vehicle, I'm covering my brakes, kind of getting myself in position, ready. And then if nothing happens, okay, cool, I'm good, right? I'm past the intersection, I'm good. What's up ahead though? All right, so now we have an issue. We're in 6th gear at 47. That's pretty interesting. But we're going 47 miles per hour. We have this vehicle right here. Are we able to stop in time? Probably not. So part of planning our ride, the P part, the position for safety, is that we're looking for an escape route, at least one. We have a good space cushion, and we have good line of sight. I can't see around this vehicle. My space cushion is getting reduced because I'm speeding towards it, but I do have an escape path to the left or the right. So what does he do? Last second, chooses the escape. I would have chosen that escape a little bit sooner. That's why you need to be paying attention when you're riding, okay? It's an e-bike? Okay, that makes more sense.
The rider
All right, what do we got here?
Distracted. He started braking too late and leaned only slightly, which together lead to a dangerous fall.
Oh. He's laughing. Let's go over just a little bit what happened here is that we're going through a corner. You notice, I mean, they really only have, they have guardrails everywhere, but typically on corners. Okay, so we're going through a corner in the mountains.
He was distracted. He started
A little bit distracted, started to brake late, going a little too fast for the corner, didn't navigate the corner. Remember, corners and intersections are hazardous for motorcycle riders.
Together lead to a dangerous fall.
So then we hit the guardrail. Okay, there's that. It's his emergency. Now for us, let's pretend now we're the guy on the red bike. We need to remain calm. We need to ensure our own safety first, so pull over and then double check him, okay? But we need to remain calm so we don't get into the same crash. So now somebody has to help both of us. We can at least help him if we don't crash. And like I said, that's part of the system. Once again, we're going over all the principles here, so grab the whole system. You get all these books. You learn how to rescue somebody after a crash. Hopefully he's doing fine. He's walking, that's a good sign. Checking his body, okay. That's a high impact. There's the head impact right there. Okay, possible concussion, more than likely. Your brain's still gonna slosh around in that cerebral spinal fluid. He's got full gear, very high, steep drop. I've stopped rolling. Okay. Got very lucky. See how you're not gonna be able to control anything? You're a victim to physics at this point. Same thing, corners. There's a car coming. Oh, we ripped up our pants. They're not motorcycle pants. Someone was watching over me today. Could have been much worse than it was. So right knee. I want to point out okay, look at the road. Simple road if you're going the right speed, right? So we're coming up here. Chevrons right there. The chevrons on a corner indicate it is a sharp turn. So pay attention to signs. I bet you there was a sign back there that had it like this. There's like a sign like that where it's like, hey, we got a sharp turn coming up ahead. Pay attention to that. And then sometimes there's even a smaller, like a square sign underneath that one, and it's like 25. Right? So go to the recommended speed on that. And then when you're in the middle of the turn or after the turn, be like, oh, that was easy, perfectly fine. And then it's okay. You don't have to, do anything crazy to get around this corner. So this is a low side. We lost traction. Hit our right knee. So we fell to the right, hit our right knee. That's why we have injuries to the right. That is called not slow look, press and roll, but that's what you want to do in the middle of or coming up to a corner. But it's a mechanism of injury. So we fell down to the right. So we're gonna have right knee, right hip, right shoulder, right elbow problems. And maybe if we hit our head, we're gonna have possible level 1 concussion, just a headache, hopefully. If we're wearing a helmet, if we weren't wearing a helmet, we're gonna have a skull fracture maybe. So that's a big fear coming around the corner. But if you notice on the leg, that right there is where you have armor on your motorcycle pants. So if you had motorcycle pants, that armor would have mitigated some of that impact. Maybe not as bad of pain. It might have been like, ow, that hurt. And it's like stubbing your toe very, gently. It's still painful, and then it kind of goes away. But if you didn't have anything, you're gonna have road rash possibly, and maybe a broken patella, maybe broken at the very top, the tib fib. Hopefully nothing with a bone bruise on the femur. A bunch of different issues. But if you notice how he's limping, you might limp after. I want to point this part out though. Now we're on the side of the road. Perfect. Remained calmed himself, ensured his own safety himself. So rescue isn't just for other people, it's for you too. So after a crash, you need to think to yourself, oh, I need to remain calm as best I can. But what's the next step? I need to ensure my own safety. I'm in the middle of the road. I need to get off the road. That's the biggest thing when it comes to traffic and crashing on the road, is that you're going to have people coming around corners and possibly hit you. So you see how he's limping? Might have been a lot less if we were wearing motorcycle pants. And I do have a motorcycle guide on my website. You want to check it out. Let's go ahead and bring it up real quick. I do have, if you're looking for a free resource, I do have a motorcycle guide on the website. And plus, you can get some free Smart Rider drills. There's 5 drills, but I do have how to buy a motorcycle, how to ride a motorcycle, MSF test prep, and then I do have a motorcycle gear 101 guide. So you might want to check it out. I go over everything in here, and there's a video that actually explains everything. We do go over pants, gloves, boots, helmets, everything, jackets. Check it out, motorcycletrainingconcepts.com, training resources. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this one. See all the chevrons? See all the different chevrons? Now, it's a fun thing, right? We're having fun. What was that sign right there? I bet you this is when it's about to happen. Okay, we have a sharp left, sharp right turn coming up ahead, and that little sign underneath it says 20, 25 or whatever. Do the recommended speed limit, especially if it's an area you don't know. And even if it is an area you do know, what happens if there's gravel? So there's the sharp left. We didn't make that one. There was a sharp right coming up ahead. We weren't going to be prepared for that one. So one thing that's going to help you out when it comes to understanding going through the corners in the mountains, and this is what I always point out when I was an MSF rider coach, and I point out even now, is that the straight line weave in the cones, if you mess up that first cone because you're going too fast, you might be able to make it around that first cone, but that second cone, you're going to go too wide. It's the same thing for riding in the mountains. We're going to be going, hey, we went too fast on the first one. That second one, I'm not prepped for it. So you really need to make sure that first one is good. At least start off with that first one slower than you think you need to go. Make it good. Second one, you can maybe pick up speed, but at least you'll have an understanding of what these turns feel like. So if you're a brand new rider, don't be like, I need to go into this corner fast. Go into it slow and then be like, oh, that was easy. Let me go ahead and give it a little bit more speed, or go slow again for the next one. Because the whole goal is to make it home. We're practicing our skills submaximally. You don't throw 315 on the bench first time, working out. You go slowly, progressively overload to the point where you can actually bench that. It'd be impressive if you guys can, but you don't just throw it right on. Oh, we have the layer down here. So for those of you that have been riding for a while or are brand new to riding and you hear, I had to layer down all the time. What does that mean? Write it in the chat, everybody. What does that mean, having to lay it down? Doesn't make any sense. I don't like the idea of like the thing that I have to do in order to not crash is to crash. I had to lay down and crash my bike so that I didn't crash. It's not a thing that I like to do. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's other things you can do to prevent yourself from crashing. Okay, 3 things: swerve, brake, accelerate. There's emergency versions of all of this stuff. Panic braking is what's causing the had to lay it down. So there's a way to actually brake, progressively, and we practice that in the system so that you have that trained and you're building a habit into your body to do progressive braking versus panic braking. And it is an excuse. So right here, what's happening? Oh, geez. Maybe there's a little bit more of what's happening here. Probably slammed the brakes and lost full control of the motorcycle because we're going a straight line, and dumped the bike. Now, why would we panic and slam the brakes here? Maybe we were about to hit our buddy because we were speeding up and he was just going normal speed. But you typically see that. Maybe we'll see it in this video. It's actually happening less and less, and I'm hoping it's because you guys are watching these videos. We got something big and heavy inside a black bag, okay? Oh!
This rider was incredibly lucky to avoid a collision with the bug, but
Yeah, I want to point that out. So we're riding at night, lower visibility, not gonna be able to see things until it comes up right on you. Is it easier to swerve at high speed or at a lower speed? So at night,
this rider was incredibly
pay
lucky
attention.
to avoid a
At
collision
night,
with the bug,
maybe slow it down a little bit so that you're able to swerve around things like
some
that.
painful
It
consequences.
hit his left foot, but not the bike. That's a close call. Pretty scary. Ooh. That's a little swollen. Might be a tear. Got a ligament tear or something. Yeah. And that's a good visual right there. Take a look. So whenever I see somebody with an injury, I double check the other leg. Because if the person's like, I have pain in my left ankle, I'm like, let me see your right ankle. Because I want to see what's normal to you. Because honestly, some people have ankles that look like this on both ankles without injuries. It's weird. It is what it is. Pedal edema, all that stuff. So I always double check and be like, hey, let me look at your other ankle. So if somebody after a crash and I'm here to rescue them, right? And they're like, hey, my ankle hurts. I'm going to take off both boots. And I'm going to take a look at both ankles and be like, oh yeah, there's an obvious deformity, an obvious swelling compared to the other ankle. All right, here we go. Cruising around. Oh. There's the impact. Lots of crazy traffic. It's why you don't really want to pass a lot. So the only thing I would really recommend that you guys do here is get yourself a phone mount. I use rock form, so you might want to check it out. I put my phone on there just for the GPS like that. But here, looking ahead, because I want to be able to pay attention to GPS every now and then, glance down. Like, am I going the right way? I'm not missing anything. And then I have my Cardo Pack Talk Edge talking to me, telling me I have a turn coming up, so I'm not having to think. I let the phone and the Cardo talk to me, so that takes care of the thinking. It's like a little assistant, like a little navigation person on the side in the car. But right here, intersections, hazardous area. So as soon as you see that side of the vehicle peeking out like that, little turtle heading, what do? You apply the brakes as best you can. Hopefully you're not speeding super fast, and do some nice, good progressive brake pressure. He tries. So it is what it is. What does that tell us? Maybe we slow it down. She may be prettier, but can she do this? Okay, let's take a look. What, flip it? Yep, there it is. Oh, geez.